bookworms, I'm Becca. Today I'm doing my March wrap-up in April TBR. Hopefully it's not too late. It's only April 4th when I'm filming this, so I feel like this will be fine. It'll be fine. In the month of March, I read a total of 2 books. The first book that I read and finished in March is A Sisterhood of Secret Ambitions by Shanna Bokweg. And this is a young adult historical fiction where we follow a girl named Elsie. Elsie is a part of a secret underground society of women that are kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes of influential men throughout history. And the women have different roles in the society. Elsie's role is to be a wife. And so somewhere along the way, she is going to be paired up with an influential man to be his wife. Elsie and her friends get summoned for this new assignment, and they find out that the gentleman that they're going to be matched with is slated to be the next president of the United States, which would make whoever wins this little competition the most powerful woman in the society. So Elsie really wants to win this competition. But like I said, it's not just Elsie competing, she's with a group of her friends. So throughout the book, Elsie is kind of torn between wanting to support her fellow sisters, but also wanting to win for herself because she has her own thoughts and her own ideas and her own agenda that she wants to push forward. So I think Elsie's character growth over the course of the book is really interesting because she starts realizing that she doesn't want to just be a wife, she wants to be the person in charge. And she's realizing that her voice matters and that her voice can make a difference. And even though she's kind of torn between wanting to support her friends but also wanting to be in control, by the end she realizes that she can be the one in control. She doesn't have to be someone's wife and pulling the strings behind the scenes. She can make a difference all on her own. I have it tabbed to high heavens. Most of these tabs, even though it was a romance and there were some interesting pieces to it, a lot of these tabs correspond with little lines of feminism or things that resonated with me. I thought that the touch of feminism and the way that gender and sexuality is discussed within this book is really interesting because it felt kind of like the discussions that we have now. The topic of gender and discussing gender felt very mainstream within the society, and people didn't shy away from talking about different sexualities. There's a character that figures out that they are asexual. There's some really nice trans representation in this book as well. And it struck me because this isn't a modern day book. This book is set in 1927, and so these conversations and these ideals and values are not something that would have been super mainstream during that time. So even though it felt odd within the period of history, it felt very normal and natural within the context of this book. And so I thought that that was incredibly interesting. Overall, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I would highly recommend it. I thought that this was the perfect read to pick up during Women's History Month, especially because there are all of the discussions about feminism and women in society. It was really good. The second book that I read in March wrecked me, and it was Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a retelling of Achilles' story, basically. I don't know that much about Greek mythology, so I'm still kind of learning as I go and starting to research more after I finish this book because I loved it so freaking much. But if you are familiar with Greek mythology, this tells Achilles' story and the story of the Trojan War. It's from the perspective of Patroclus, who was a young boy who was exiled and ends up growing up alongside of Achilles, and they form a really deep friendship that blossoms into more. I love them. I love them with my whole heart. I love Achilles and Patroclus. I just love them. They're incredible. The romance in this book is next level. The spice level of this book was very minimal, which I appreciated because I am not someone who likes a lot of spice in books. And that was something that I was nervous about because this is an adult book. And it was gifted to me by my friend Amanda because I was reading the Percy Jackson books and talking about Greek mythology. So she gifted me Song of Achilles, and I'm so glad that she did. I gave this one 5 stars. I definitely want to do a reread. I don't have any tabs, mostly because I'm not used to reading adult literary fiction, I guess is how this would be categorized. I am very much young adult. I'm a young adult reader. I am not young adult, but I read young adult in middle grade. So this was a lot of bit out of my comfort zone. So I spent the majority of this read focusing on comprehension and making sure that I was understanding everything that was going on. I will say the beginning of that was a little bit rough, but once the story starts kind of unfolding and you get used to the writing style, it was very easy to understand everything that was going on. It was so good. The end left me absolutely wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. I kind of knew a little bit about what was going to happen. It's a Greek tragedy. It's gonna leave you a little bit broken, but I'm unwell. I may have thrown the book across the room. I was screaming, crying, throwing up. I wanted to rip this book into shreds. I was not okay after the last page. And I almost picked it right back up to start reading it again. So a reread is in my immediate future. I can feel it. I feel like I didn't do a great job of summing up this book. I just kind of blurted all of my feelings out. So if you would be interested in more of a cohesive, possibly coherent, maybe, review of more of my in-depth thoughts, let me know down below in the comments, because I know that this book, well, first of all, this book came out 10 years ago. Where the heck have I been? Second of all, the popularity of this book is in the last 5 years, and this is the book of book talk, so that's in the last couple of years. So I've basically been living under a rock, is what I'm trying to say. So I just don't know how much people would really want to listen to me talk more about this book that has probably been talked to death, but I will do it if you want to hear me swoon over this book. So let me know, and maybe I'll do that. Okay, so Song of Achilles, Madeline Miller, 5 billion stars. Yeah, okay. I also wanted to do my TBR for April. Right now I have 2 books picked out because it's part of another series that I'm doing, and you're gonna have to wait for that vlog at the end of the month, but I will show off the books. The first book that I'm going to be reading this month is The Project by Courtney Summers. This is a young adult thriller by the same author as Sadie, and it has to do with cults. And the second book I have right now is Home and Away by Candace Montgomery, and this is about a girl who is a senior and plays football as the only girl on her private school's football team. Interesting. So if you want to know some more about why I'm reading these books and my thoughts on them, make sure you wait for the vlog at the end of the month. We do have one more thing to do. I made a little jar with 12 books that I want to read this year. It is April, so we're behind, but that's okay. I'm going to pick a book out to add to my TBR, and if I finish it, then I'm going to choose another one, and we're just going to do that, because no one wants to be behind on anything. So, here is the book that I am adding to my TBR. Ooh, I'm excited. Let me get it. Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready, but I'm going to show you anyway. It is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I freaking loved it when I read it. I have all of the other books in the series, but I haven't read them yet, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be in the jar. A lot of the books in the jar are books I've had for a while, and haven't gotten to. And so I wanted to really focus on clearing out some of those books from my shelves. So this is the first one we have. I'm very excited. I don't know anything about it, and I don't really want to, so I'm not going to read the inside cover, but I'll probably be talking about it when I'm done reading it. So stay tuned for the end of the month, I suppose. And there you guys go. That is my March wrap-up and April TBR. I'm excited for these 3 books. I'm crossing my fingers and my toes that I'm going to be able to actually finish these books in April. I feel good about it because this week especially is spring break for me, so I'm gonna be doing nothing but reading and working on stuff during the day, so that will be really exciting. Yeah, that's all I really got for you guys today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below to see more bookish videos. Make sure to follow me on all of my socials to find out what I'm up to. Join my Discord and things like that. Come check me out on Twitch. We play games and talk about books. It's a really fun time. That's all I got for you guys today, and I will see you next time. Bye!